Oh no, listen to this. That's quite bad, isn't it? Oh my god. Look at that. And good morning, everybody. We are finally back on the Spanners after Auto Mechanica. What an amazing event that was. But we are here today because this vehicle right here is making some crazy noise, and I've noticed something rather dangerous, let's say, and that's why this noise. Is coming from this vehicle. It's an ugly one, but come with me to this journey. We're gonna find out what's wrong with it exactly, and then we're gonna walk you through how to rectify this issue. So let's get to it so I can show you what is wrong with this vehicle. Come on, let's go.
Just a reminder, we came here before to replace his Valvetronic. A month later, the owner gave us a call about a loud noise coming from his brakes, and as you can see, the brakes on the rear is not in good condition at all, lipping on the discs, and also we found something unusual about his brake pads. Before continuing on the video, put your guesses down in the comment section on what it might be.
Right, okay, now that the wheels are off, we can see what is happening, why it's making that noise. You'll see it here, and you're probably going to find it quite amusing, but the customer actually tried to replace his own brake pads in this guy, a subscriber of ours, but I think he struggled to wind the piston back or something like that for the rears. Let me show you something.
This should give a huge clue as to why one side is squealing and one side isn't. If you haven't guessed yet, make sure to put it down in the comment section.
And here you go, look, you can see this side is Toyota. Yes, it is worn, and same with the disc as well. It's got a massive lip on it now. That's why the brake pad is making a lot of noise, because it's likely to be on the indicator already. Now, mind that right there is Toyota, and it's also worn, as you can see right there. That's worn. Now, let's go and move on to this side. So this is the driver side rear, as you can see right there. That one is Brembo. As you can see right there, that's still got some meat on it. It's quite low, but it does have some meat on it. The brake disc obviously lipped as well, and I think, was it this caliper that he's replaced? I'm not sure, because one of them seized up, so it must have been this one, because this one's actually newer. So let's see if it's gonna wind back properly. What we need to do as well is to bleed the system, because I believe that they have never ever replaced the brake fluid in this. So let's get to it. Saying that though, what we're going to do is we're going to try Chris Fix's method of bleeding the brake fluid out of this system, so the complete system. So here you go, here is the video. I will show you. He's teaching all of the stuff, how to do it and stuff like that, but as far as I know, this is an old video. So the question now is it going to work on a modern car with ABS in it? Let's go, let's have a look.
We've got a long day ahead of us, so without further ado, I started removing the brake pads and discs off of the car. Now then, what have we got here?
Right, so here we are. So you've got the discs, as you can see right there. There is lipping on this. I don't know how to show it to you guys really, but yeah, you can see that clearly actually. And here is the pads, and as you can see, that's that thing that's making noise. Look, it's because obviously this indicator, as I call it, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, I call it an indicator anyway. This is the thing that was screeching, because this is obviously way below 1.6 mil, and it's not safe anymore. Same with that. So this is on the outside, and here is the caliper carrier. That needs a good clean, I would say, because I don't think the owner replaced that. Cleaned it anyway. And this, I am a little bit worried with this one, but yeah, we'll see if the caliper is seized in place or not, because there is a little bit of browning on that brake disc, which means something is holding it in place. Who am I to say until I wind that back up? But for now, let's give everything a nice clean. Let's get to it.
It is important to give the hub a clean. This ensures a flatter surface for the new brake disc to mate on, which can prevent the disc from warping and also prevent unusual vibration when under braking.
And that is now much better. So as you can see, even the carrier is nice and clean now. There's no high spots on those what would you call it, brake pad sliders, I would call it. But now the most forgotten part, service part anyway, on a brake is this. So what people usually do is that they just go like this and they don't check it. It is moving fine, which is absolutely perfect, but obviously whenever you touch brakes, what you want to do is take this off and then give them a little clean. And to do that, all you have to do is pretty much give this a nice pull. As you can see, that grease is perfect in there. It is pretty nice. I think this would be the owner that's done this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little top up of red rubber grease. Yes, I'm mixing the grease, right? But the thing is, what's important is that this is lubricated properly with the proper grease as well. I'm not sure what he's used on that, but red rubber grease is the one to go to for this one. Let's plonk this back in and then let's get installing with the new parts. There we go, that in there, nice. And then on to the next. Ooh, as you can see, this one is a little bit not on the happy side. It is quite dirty, as you can see there. It's like rusty almost in color in comparison to the top one. So let's give this a nice clean. Alright, that's nice and clean. This one as well.
Just for the record, I did spray the inside with a brake cleaner. I don't want the internet warriors coming after me.
What you want to do is to pretty much just grab the pin, put red rubber grease in there, like that, and then just put it inside of the boot. And if there is anything that's excess, obviously just wipe it down as well. That's the most important thing. Give it a little twirly whirly. There you go. And that should keep it nice for a long period of time now. It's sealed in properly. You can see there. You have to make sure that that's sat down nice and fresh. There you go. You can see that's moving nicely. That's also moving nicely. So let's put the new brake disc in. Now, you know, Pagid is always my first choice, but unfortunately it was not available from my factors, so we are going to be using Delphi right there. So Delphi brake pads, and this is what we're going to be using. They're good, don't get me wrong, but like what I said, not my first choice. Pagid is always going to be close to my heart. But now let's go and fit everything in.
To fit the brake disc and pads, we have to put the brake disc in place, fit the caliper carrier on, not forgetting to clean the brake pad fittings, and then all we have to do is to torque the caliper carrier down. Now look at the difference that made. Absolutely amazing.
Right, now then, in comes the moment of truth. Will this caliper wind back or not? Let's go and have a look. Right, don't you just hate it, right? It says here, left hand side, right? Left hand. Or am I just being stupid, but you're supposed to use the left hand on the left hand side and then right hand on the right hand side? Or is it left hand twist or right hand twist? Please put it down in the comment section below, because this has confused me my whole life. It's worth the size.
If you're wondering what I'm doing here, well, as you compress the caliper, it is likely that some air will be trapped in the boot. I'm simply releasing that air to ensure that the rubber boot will sit nicely and flush on the brake pads.
Don't go anywhere. If you're asking why I sprayed that, it's because the boot is basically starting to turn on itself. So here, as you can see there, can you see how it's kinking? So what I usually do is spray like a maintenance spray, WD-40, whatever you want to call it. But obviously my preferred one is the Power Lube Plus from Launch. and that should stop it pretty much from twirling, and then it should sort itself out. And as you can see there, look, it's now pretty straight, sorted itself out. Now the next thing that we have to do is to obviously remove that lubricant, and let's spray some brake cleaner on that and get that cleaned. So now it's time to fit the brake pads, and as you can see, like for like, you can see how thin this one is. Let's replace that with good quality part. Obviously that's Delphi. I haven't done brakes in ages, bro. I feel like a noob, like an actual real noob. That's safe one.
As you can see here, the brake pad should fit in the carrier without having to hammer it in. It should just freely slide in and out of the carrier.
Now that we have fitted this, obviously, what you always want to check for is, because if you have a look at the pads, they have got this tiny nipple that pops out right there. So what you want is for this to line up with one of these, one of the lobes, I call it, on the brake caliper. Because what's going to happen is, if it doesn't line up, your brake pads is not gonna, it's gonna sit a little bit skewed. When it's braking, it's basically pushing more force just on one side of the pads. So you don't want to be doing that. Just make sure that that sits correctly. I don't know, I'm going to show it to you guys, but I'll try my very best to show it to you. And look, have a look over there. You can just about see the nipple. I'll circle it on the video, but that is not sitting correctly. You can just about see the nipple, and look, there is a massive gap. So it sits right on this, but it's not sitting right down there. Look, can you see how big the gap is between the caliper and the brake pads? So yeah, it's not sitting right. Let's correct that by doing this. As you can see here, can you see that notch where my finger is at the moment? That notch there. What you want is to center this piece, that any of these really, wherever you end up, just center them onto this notch right there. I'll circle it again, but yeah, just center it to this one. And as you can see, we're not far off, but far enough for the brake pads to not sit properly. So let's get that corrected. And there we have it. I would say that's pretty centered. So now that brake pad should sit nicely. So let's fit it back in. There you go, look. When I press it in, it clears. You can see that nipple on the brake pad, and if I was to push it in, the whole caliper basically sits on the brake pad. You can just about see it. Look, it's right there, the nipple. And that is when you know it's installed correctly.
Installing brake pads in this might be the easiest job to do as a mechanic, but it's also one of those jobs that you can easily make a mistake on if you don't focus on the tiny details, such as cleaning the hub, runners, and also aligning the brake caliper with the brake pads. So let's keep going.
I'm just gonna have a quick break. I am so tired. I think things are just catching up on me. Hay fever doesn't help either. Yeah, we've got some MacD. Yeah, we've got some in here. So yeah, man, I'm just gonna have a quick rest. Probably have my coffee as well. This is my second shot of the day. I'm so exhausted. Replacing that brake, just one on the rear, took me about an hour. All right. If it wasn't for you guys, it would only take me like, I don't know, a maximum of 10 minutes, I would say, on the rear. And I'm only doing this because I want to show you guys how to do it properly. So please, for my efforts, I think I deserve your subscribe, right? Right? Yeah, go on, go click that, and give it a little like as well.
Pushing back time.
Whilst I was working on the rear axle, John was also doing his work at the front. He's definitely come a long way from where he started. I'm impressed.
It's wash. Something still in my eye. I know it doesn't rhyme.
I didn't want to bore anyone, so I started cracking on the other side until I found this.
Right, so remember on the other side when I was talking about lining up the brake pads properly, so that nipple, well, this one anyway, right, this nipple right here. Remember I told you the importance of it as to why you should? Now look at this caliper here. So this is a second-hand caliper that was replaced by the customer, I believe, and you can just about see there that's where the old one was sitting, and now look what happened to it. It's completely bent, the piston itself, and you can see it there as well, the bottom one. So that's when it was previously changed. That's why it's very important to make sure that this notch lines up with the middle of this, because otherwise what's going to happen is it's not going to sit down properly, and that is the horror of it. You can just about see all the damage there. Look, they hammered that in just so that it sits on this. It's absolutely crazy. They mullered it, but yeah, you got to do it right, otherwise yeah, it's not going to do its job properly. But that boot, that definitely needs to be replaced. That is not safe anymore. I'm definitely going to tell the customer about this, because this is the second hand that he bought, second hand caliper. So anyway, let's stop chatting, let's fit it in. Now you guys are probably thinking, why am I not using copper grease on the brakes? Okay, so Ian, who works for Padgett, actually explained to me that it can actually interfere with all of the electronics on the ABS system, and as you can imagine, copper grease is very conductive. Copper, as you know, it is conductive. So over time, because it's not suitable for high temperature and stuff like that, what would happen is that the filing, the little material that is on the copper grease, it's basically going to start flying around. Another thing that he's also mentioned to us is that if you were to use it on brakes, for example, everything is metal, what's going to happen is it's slowly going to corrode the metal that's on that. So if you imagine on electrical devices, say for example, if you leave the battery in there for a long time on batteries, you can see those green stuff, and same with the wirings as well. You will see those green stuff start to corrode whatever is around it. So I will not recommend using copper grease on the sliders. Don't use copper grease, because it is the worst thing that you could possibly do. The boot itself will start to corrode as well. Well, it will erode the rubber anyway. Let me just elaborate a little bit more about the copper grease potentially contaminating all the electrical components. So that's your ABS sensor that's there, or even the ABS ring. So what could happen over time if, for example, you put a little bit too much copper grease on there, or once it starts disintegrating and just starts flying around everywhere, what's going to happen is it can potentially go into your wiring pins for the ABS, and same on the ring as well. It can start living there, and what's going to happen is that it could give you an off reading on the ABS, and that will cause obviously the traction control to go on, or it could even swell up the ring, the ABS ring. So we don't really want to be doing that. So let's just use the right stuff, the Hydrotech and Ceratec from Padgett. But yeah, let's use the right thing and advance with the technology, let's just say. Right, let's move forward with them. So let's go on to the next job. That is the brake flush, I think, that we're gonna do. Let me show you.
We are finally done here. I can confidently say that I am happy with the job that we've done. We use quality source parts and have also done the job correctly. For the people who are wondering if we bled the system, yes we did, but we will show you that procedure here on the next job. Let's get to it.
So we are now here. This is an Alfa Romeo Mito, and the customer states that his brake pedal, by the way, his brake pedal is very spongy, and he doesn't know what it is. All he can see is a little bit of oil leak down on one side. Now, if you start seeing oil coming from one of your wheels, that's usually a bad sign. That usually means stop. Don't even try and drive the vehicle, which luckily enough is what he did, because otherwise it would be very dangerous. You will not have any brakes once that brake pedal becomes spongy. What we're going to do is we're going to find out what's wrong with it. Hopefully he didn't break a pipe or something like that, but this car is definitely gonna need new brake fluid and a good fluid flushing on it, because we know now that the whole braking system is contaminated with, well, things that is not supposed to be on the brake line. So let's find out. Come and join us. Let's find out on what's wrong with this vehicle.
Failing brake pipe is definitely not ideal, not something that you'd like to happen whilst you're driving at high speed. So let's get to it and get this car rectified. Let's go.
You have to pump it before it works.
So John, oh, where are you? So John, what do you think is wrong with this car then? So he's saying that he's got spongy pedal.
Spongy brakes.
Yeah.
What
do you
what
think?
happens when you press down on it?
Let's see. Yeah.
It's not even hard.
Well, the thing is, he said that there's leak on that side as well. So shall we
Side?
find out? Driver side, passenger side. So let's go and have a look. Do you want to jack up the other side?
Do you know?
Don't be
this
rude.
reminds me of.
Don't be rude. Jack up the other side, please.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
What?
When we nearly died on the motorway.
Oh, link over here. Yes, we lost brakes, didn't we?
He went.
Yeah, we lost brakes. Yeah, that was crazy that. But yeah, watch that video over here.
What the? Crossed.
I'm crossed. What is that about?
What is that about? Oh.
Oh, that vibration. Alright, so what's that? Oh my god.
What? What? Let me see. Let me see. Wow.
That's the brake line.
Where is it?
It's here. Put it back in. Fixed! That's done.
Alright, let's go. Next job.
Next job. Oh my lord.
What did it drop?
Crazy.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Could you imagine? Imagine if that came loose or it popped for when he was driving. He must have absolutely himself. That is absolutely crazy. So that is the reason why we're gonna have to bleed the whole braking system, because obviously when that happened he was probably stepping on the brakes and then it probably like inhaled some of the stuff on the backstroke, as I call it. Yeah, probably inhaled, say for example if he was driving in the rain, probably inhaled some water. So we're gonna flush the whole system out and do it the proper way. Ah god. Okay, so we need to go and find him a brake pipe. So let's remove this and then call our motor factors. Okay. Of the power lube, give it a little clean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in place, this thing, the retaining clip, just so that we can undo the nut.
Nuts.
No, John. No.
Nuts.
13 and all that. Oh, it might not even. John, I can't lie to you. That might be a 10 or an 11. Sorry, bro. 11. God, this is scary business. Okay. What size is that? Because it's just twisting and I don't really want to break that brake line. 13's too big. Is that even a nut? This is filthy, isn't it?
You sprayed it, mate.
Wee. Here you go. Hey. And there you have it. So if you can imagine, this is probably going like, I think, don't quote me on this if I'm wrong, I think it's about 10 bar pressure, maybe? Don't quote me on that. Let's take this off first, this piece. And now, that should come off nice and easy, there you go. Okay, right everyone, and as you can see right there, that is just what I'd call shenesh. That is done. Hopefully he didn't drive it when it broke, but yeah, here we are. Thank God that came off quite nicely, per se, right? Because you know sometimes they do snap in place and there's so many things that you have to do. think the Power Lube Plus, right? What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to our motor factors and get this replaced, because obviously it's not in good condition, as you can see. So let's go and do that. Come with us. We just got back from the factors and we have got the new stuff. You can see right there. It's not the broken one anymore, but as you can hear, the heavens have opened up. If you're not prepared, like me, you're gonna be soaked. But anyway, we're just gonna wait for this to settle and then we'll get back on the job. Love being mobile, you know that. It's different every day, isn't it, John? Look at him, he looks depressed. He looks very sad. Oh, is it me or the weather is confused, John?
Weather's confused.
Yeah, look at it. So that was the rain cloud, and now, thank God.
What? Where'd it go? Oh, it's there.
Yeah. Oh God. It's finally time. Goodness gracious. Oh, you know what? No. Let's put this one on first. Cool. Just needs to be nice and snug. Doesn't have to be too tight. Just nice and snug. Now this one. Go, John's doing the deed. Has it gone in? Has it bit in?
Yep.
You sure about that, my friend?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Tackers. Oh, I don't have that.
Don't have it.
But John does. Look at him. Very serious about this. This is not the main content. This is pretty easy. I will show you that the way we do brake bleeding process pretty much. Now we're just setting up the machine. Obviously we just have to pour brake fluid in the reservoir. And as you know, TMD friction, Paget, is what we love to use every time. Each time we touch brakes. Unfortunately with the previous job, our supplier did not have the right part for the job, so we had to go for Delphi. Like what I said, it's always going to be Paget, close to my heart. Okay, so you know Chris Fix, he's an excellent guy. Every car guy knows him. If you're a car enthusiast, you will know Chris Fix as well. Now the thing is, he's shown us a video of how you change a brake fluid, and as you can see, I'll leave a description here, and I'll also leave a box right here so we can watch it together. So his step one is to remove the brake fluid in the reservoir, so let's just go and do that. And yeah, there's nothing in there, of course, because his brake fluid was leaking from that side. So yeah, as you can see, he's got nothing left. Now that's done, that we've emptied the brake reservoir, the next step that he said is to basically start from the furthest and then closest to the master cylinder. However, the floor on this video, obviously it's outdated, it's been posted a few years back, probably 9-10 years ago, maybe 11. Only thing is, he worked on a car that is pretty old and doesn't really have an ABS system. Now we have to make sure that the ABS system is bled properly. So inside there's like a little solenoid that lets it basically open and close and stuff like that for when you brake heavy, so that your wheels just keeps on turning for when you're braking, and that, you know, you'll be able to control your steering wheel still even if you're sliding away. So now we have to bleed those solenoids as well. So what we have to do is we have to connect it to our diagnostic tool just to make sure that that is fully bled as well, so that inside the solenoid, so the old brake fluid inside those solenoids is banished, right? So we need new brake fluid in there as well. So let's just go and do that. Let's kick it up.
Circulate.
No, not recirculate.
Refresh, renew.
Renewed, yeah, renewed. So let's just go and do that, and let's jump into our diagnostic. Right, cool. So now what we're going to do is we are going to fill up the brake reservoir, and as you can see, I've connected my little thing now. It's been raining, it's been absolutely crazy in and out with the sunshine, but yeah. So now all we have to do is to basically pressurize it to 1 bar.
With modern vehicles, pressure bleeding is essential. It is even stated on most brake fluid caps on what the maximum pressure you should put in the system. A lot of people would disagree, but you know us, we follow what the manufacturers say. In most cases, with modern vehicles, you will not be able to completely bleed the system without one.
Increase the pressure to 1 bar, and there you have it. We'll just leave it there for the time being. Right, let's reduce that a little bit, just a little bit. So what's that's done is basically is put brake fluid in there, so fresh brake fluid by Pagid. Now the next thing that we have to do is pretty much open up the valves, so furthest from the brake cylinder, so that will be the passenger side on the rear. So let's do that. Right, so before we proceed, actually what we're going to do is we are going to evacuate all of those old fluid that's in the motor. So what we're going to do is just press pump motor, and then you should be able to hear it pumping. So once that's done, basically the solenoids inside has now got fresh brake fluid, because obviously we've emptied that now, and all of the brake fluid will basically go into those ABS solenoids that controls the ABS system. Now we can freely bleed the system, so let's go and do that. And also what we have to do is, whilst one of those valves are open, we are also going to pump the motor just so that it can exit properly, if I'm making sense. So let's go and do that. So this process now is what Chris Fix is doing here. As you can see on this video, he's doing just that. So we're connecting it furthest to the master cylinder. Now we're going to try and see what's going to come out of this. As far as I know, this customer has not serviced the brake fluid in a very long time. We're talking about probably 6-7 years, and the service for them is ideally every 2 years, but I recommend yearly. Normally I'll be using my X431 Eurotab 3 on this, or the 601, but I haven't got it with me. Silly me, I forgot at home, so I'm just using my normal old scanner. But yeah, you'll see it here. This will be loaded with brake fluid as soon as that valve opens up, because there is now pressure at the top. And there you have it. Look, you can actually see bits and pieces right there. Look, if it's going to focus, but yeah, there's bits in there. Oh my god, what is that? Look, you see air in there as well, so just let that flow out. You can see there's air in the system. So yeah, now that's getting fully evacuated out of the system now. And that is literally what happens when one of your lines break. It starts to basically get air in the system. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pump the motor whilst he's at it. There you go. That should have opened it up as well. Perfect. Rear left. Drain valve. There you go. Done. Yeah, lock it. That should be fine now. As you can see, the line is solid now. So, well, that's one because I touched it. And as you can see right there, this bubble has stopped, which means that valve is now fully closed. So now we can take this off. And that is not the color that you want for your brake fluid. Look at it, it's green. That's supposed to be golden. So let's move on to the next side. John is now just undoing the valve, so that should be downwards, John, yeah?
Yeah. Why is it tight, bro? Oh my god! Oh! Feel how tough that is?
Yeah, I know, I can see. See that air?
All those pockets.
With bits and bobs. Look at the amount of air that's going on it. Look at that.
Oh my. Is that the last bubble?
No, there's more.
No, that was the last one. Oh, no, there's some more.
I think those are the last piece now. Right, so the next one now is obviously the front. Since it's a 4-part, I believe, yeah, 4-part. There's 2 nipples to it, so we're going to start from the outer and then we're going to move to the inside, hopefully without snapping it. Right, John?
Right.
You can see there, There's absolutely nothing. There you go. There it is. Oh, this is dumb. You love to see it. This is so dumb. Oh god. Okay. Right, stop recording. Well, ignore that one. But anyway, the bubble is gone on that side. What a mess. Now let's do this side now. And there you go. Look how it's still airy, even though we've bled this side. So, right, now what we're gonna do is we're also gonna pump the motor. There we go. Again. This side is absolutely fine. See, solid. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Right, time for the last side. The offside side.
No, the near side of the offside.
The near side of the offside.
Yeah, that's it.
Since there's two of them.
Jesus. It's tight as anything. You coming out?
Slowly. Look at that bubble right there. Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Keep it coming, bruh. Keep it coming. There we go. Yeah.
You're bubbling.
Yeah.
Loads of it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
There's a solid line. There you go.
There we go.
There's a solid line. So that is the brake bleeding process done. So now what we're going to do is we are going to check how hard the pedal is, and then whilst one of us is pressing on the pedal, we're also going to check the brake nipples, just to make sure that nothing's leaking from it. So let's go and do just that. We remove this. This should be full of fresh brake fluid. Should. Ta-da! On the perfect level. There you go. There you have it. Free Shavakadu.
Free Shavakadu.
Yeah, man. Look at that. Solid as anything. Yeah. Again, that job was nice, to be honest with you. Made it a little bit easier with the brake bleeder kit that we got from launch. And in regards to following Chris fixes, nothing wrong with this method at all. The only reason why I had to pump the motor, like what I said, is because of those solenoids. I need to make sure that the whole motor receives the fresh brake fluid. Yeah, pretty much a good job. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be checking all the corners for leaks. And finally, that is us all done with this job now, with the jobs that we've got today. So we've done 2 brake services basically, pretty much. So 1 brake pads and disc, and then 1 for this Alfa Romeo as well with the broken pipe. We've replaced both sides as well, which is good for the customer. It's just basic maintenance really. If you're going to replace one side, replace the other side as well, because what's going to happen is potentially going to corrode as well, and then just, yeah, he will lose his brakes again. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you've learned something new. If you've spotted something in the video that you like, any product that you use, I will leave a link in the description down below, so go and check that out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, share, comment and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Peace. Yeah, we've got some Mac D.